Good morning again. And again, I'm really humbled that you're watching our videos and that you enjoy them. There's so much information to give to you about this. But let me say that there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that you can't cure. So this video is going to be on the golden key. The golden key to curing everything. And that's detoxification. Believe it or not, detoxification is the golden key. You can't learn anything like this in school. Schools are so, they're like Amish horses with blinders on. A lot of professors can't see outside of the box. And that's important that we start going outside of this box, because this healthcare situation has depleted financially this nation, and it's put our healthcare people as the #1 killer of humans, and they accept that as being okay. So healing is simple. The healing and the health issues are simple. It shouldn't be the #1 problem that humans face. People are ending up in wheelchairs and strokes and heart attacks. You don't need to happen. So this is the golden key. Detoxification is an art. And there's a lot of people that claim to do it, but they're lousy at it. And I look at that and I think, one, because practitioners that have never dug deep into the world of detoxifying their own bodies, never studied the old great masters of detoxification and fasting, we must understand that the detoxification is the golden key, because the end result today is cellular regeneration and remembering genetically of your cells, especially the young folks out there. This isn't about just cleaning the body out. This is about rebuilding the tissue, which is made of cells, and about remembering genetically your cells. In other words, enhancing, increasing the ability of the functional ability of cells. Because right now we have chronic adrenals in young people. We have chronic thyroid problems, chronic kidney problems. Some children are only born with 1 kidney now. Women can't conceive anymore. So these are easy to turn around. And the key, the golden key that always works, golden key, always, truth always is, God always is. You can always depend upon that. It's never not there. That golden key is detoxification. And so real important to understand that, and we're going to delve into that subject. If you look back, time immortal, all the way back, and the animals still do it. I don't care if you're a Christian, that's Jesus and Moses, and on back, Enoch, and on back to the Gnostics and the Essenes. You go back into the Buddhism, and you've got Siddhartha, you've got the Buddha, you've got all these beings, you've got Mohammed, you've got all these spiritual giants that use fasting, and all those followers use fastings. In Christianity, there's a lot of fasting on Fridays. And fasting, there's the Christian monks that go out into the desert and fast for 40 days and have out-of-body experience. You don't hear much about those monks, the Catholicism monks. You don't hear much about them. So fasting is the universal way. Matter of fact, animals still do it. You notice when animals get sick, you can't even feed them. They fast, and they don't go run it off either. You notice that? We all think about working out and moving our lymph and rebounding and stuff. There's times you don't want to do that. Trust me. And we'll get into why that is. Rest and relaxation, peace, joy, maybe yoga, tai chi, basic walking and swimming. But when you want to move lymph, give your body the energy to do it. Don't put your energy to moving muscles and moving blood. Body can't do everything all at once. And so when you're under stress, everything shuts off. Your adrenals pump epinephrine more, your blood moves more, but your lymph shuts down. So it's better when you relax. So detoxification is a relaxing experience. And an experience where you're going in and letting the body clean itself out. This is house cleaning. That's simple. And the reason for detoxification is covered in my videos on the lymphatic system, the great lymph system. You must know this system. They're very important because this is a true science, and it also is a bit of an art, because there are things called healing crises. These are healing events, if you will, where the body's purging itself. So when you have mucus discharging from the body and your sinuses are stopped up and you're coughing, your lungs are full, think of dairy products and why you should never do them. Because they're the most mucus-forming foods on the planet. If these dairy farmers want to sell their milks, then they should be forced to drink them. The amount of dairy farmers and the lymphatic problems you see is astronomical. It isn't worth it. And it's not worth it because we have to get away from dairy foods. We have to. Because the very survival of the human race depends upon it. Now, these are my opinions, but I tell you what, clean your body out a little bit and then just go have some dairy products and I'll show you what happens. That thick mucus that we get, and it's suffocating our cells. Well, this is what you see when you start detoxifying the body. You start getting this mucus out. Now, to understand why detoxification, you have to simply understand that the body's just a bunch of cells and two major fluids. And that's as simple. Remember, we've been going over that quite a bit. A bunch of cells and two major fluids, one blood and one lymph. So we talked about the fact that cells have to consume chemistry, and not a lot. We have this idea that cells consume all this this nutrition and stuff. Well, look at animals in the wild. They're basically mono-eaters. Horses get pretty big just on grass, not a real nutritional substance. Look at the elephants. Look at the primates. You know, 3 to 5 times stronger than humans. And that's because they eat raw foods, and they only eat fruit. Some of them. There's some omnivorish primates, and we'll get into that. But ultimately, the body's just a bunch of cells and two major fluids. Chemistry is fed to the cells through the blood, and obviously anything that has chemistry consumption, has chemical processes, has chemical residues. Like any factory out there, when you process chemistry, you have chemical residues, right? And these chemical residues can't be dumped back in the blood. This is where the allopathic community has failed. They need to open up to this and understand a whole nother understanding of the great lymphatic system. But it's enough to say that cells can't get up and go to the kitchen. Cells can't get up and go to the bathroom. They're stuck where they are. And like I said on our last video, you have to feed them on site. And that's where these fluids come in. All these fluids are flowing around all the cells constantly. Unless you get constipated in the fluids. You don't want to get constipated in the blood, do you? That's stroke, heart attack, pain, that ischemia, that's some serious problems with the cells, because without blood, cells, of course, are going to die, no question about it. But the constipation man suffers with is a whole different one. This constipation is lymphatic constipation, a very serious constipation, because as you guys are learning, all the body is a bunch of cells, two major fluids, and how many sides to chemistry are there? There's only 2 sides to chemistry. Base chemistry and acid chemistry. And remember, in chemistry, acids are corrosive. Women use acetate or acetone to strip the fingernail polish off their nails. So, real important to understand the nature. You don't have to understand chemistry, unimportant. It's important to understand the nature, though, of the 2 sides to chemistry, at least. Because you'll learn a little chemistry because you're eating it all the time, and you're drinking it all the time, you're putting it on your skin all the time, so kind of good to know what you're eating, drinking, breathing, and putting on your skin, whether it's acid or base chemistry, because we know that deterioration, the world of diseases of the medical doctors are nothing but acidosis and the effect upon tissue and cells and their functional ability and the end products and results of that. We're why guys, aren't we? We're why guys. Those people that listen to me are why people. They want to know the truth. They want what's the bottom line here? Don't give me the crap. Don't let me treat the symptom. What's the cause? And this is easy to understand as you guys are learning. And I appreciate you viewing these videos again. So, when things are acidic, when this fluid gets acidic from being constipated, remember, constipation of the lymph system is a kidney weakness and an adrenal gland weakness, where the adrenal glands are not allowing the kidneys to filter the lymph system anymore. When the kidneys stop filtering the lymph system backs up. That's why detoxification. Detoxification is actually a lymphatic experience, because the blood's easy to clean up. It's the lymph system that's not so easy. And the reason is this fluid is much thicker than the blood. It's a lipid-based fluid because it deals with the acid side of chemistry. The blood can't deal with acids without killing you. This is why you can't reabsorb cellular waste through the venous system. So your body has to be able to have an entirely separate, distinct system. You don't dump your waste at your home back into your water pipes. Swelling is of the lymph system. Edema is of the lymph system. The blood is a sacred blood. That's vital that the blood keep a certain constituency. It's important because that's the life force. But here comes, you got the sewer system. And remember, around the cells, these fluids are called interstitial floods, or simply the fluids that flow around the cells. And these fluids are 75% lymph and only 25% blood. When you pop a pimple, that's what you see. 75% lymph and 25% blood. And you see a tumor, you'll see the same thing. Cysts, you see the same thing. So, important to understand, this is interstitial fluids that are constipated because the kidneys aren't filtering and moving that system in a timely manner. You're not getting that movement properly. But important to understand why detoxification is the golden key, because you have to understand what causes everything. And we're going to the only two sides of chemistry, and there's only two fluids in the body. I don't think that could be more simple. You know, when people understand how simple this is, I hope they don't get too mad, because this is so simple that a child could learn this easy. I have a lot of children, and we're always talking to the children, and they get it. So it's important to understand that it's the lymph system that detoxification is all about. The blood comes clean with it. That's just a given. Even the blood uses the spleen to clean itself into the lymph system. So the lymph system is very important to understand, since it dominates as the main fluid of the body, and it's a thicker mucousy fluid. My whole thing is the focus and the health of cells. And the only way you're going to get that is through the two fluids. And through those two fluids and what you're eating and consuming, you can rebuild cells and remember them genetically. It's how simple it is. Bit of a process, though. Detoxification can take you years. This idea of having 2-week detoxification, you ever see that run from those people, or even 6 months? It takes you quite a while to move a lymph system. And if you've been a milk drinker in your life and a lot of cheese and dairy or yogurts, you could have a very heavy job ahead of you, because this super clogs the lymph system in the body. I could show you pictures of what a dairy farmer looks like in their lymph systems inside their body, and a non-dairy drinker, and it's literally eye-dropping. If you think you can drink a little water and rehydrate yourself, you got another thing coming. You've got miles of these interstitial fluids that have to be moving to actually get interstitial rehydration. So it makes it very difficult, and it also blocks the ability of cells to take in nutrition. So this is a very serious issue, and detoxification is the only golden key to opening up that door. And once you understand the connection of the kidneys and the adrenal glands, most practitioners have no clue. They're not taught this. I've had 40 years in rebuilding tissue, and I'm a why guy. Running these different videos is somewhat difficult in the sense that, believe it or not, I could run one video and no matter what you have, you could cure yourself with it. You'll notice that as I run these videos, I'm saying the same thing. But don't tell it too many people, because it's awful simple. But I guarantee you that you can cure anything you have. And I have to admit, you know, I created a lot of herbs, and I think a lot of you know I call my company God's Herbs. That's because I appreciate who made them. Whenever you suppress the function of a cell, it doesn't perform properly. Whenever you suppress your mind, you get a wake up someday and you maybe drank too much one night or smoked too much, who knows what, you know. Maybe you ate a pizza or something real bad and you just wake up and you're not feeling good and you have a little headache and everything. You don't function well. Because when you're looking in the world of cancer, everybody's considering it. I'm amazed at the people that come in here, and most people come in here obviously have cancer. We have 90% of our clientele probably is cancer. Even though we don't treat it, our job is to make the people healthy. And that's what you don't get lost in the treatment of diseases, because that takes you down a road that doesn't exist. Because it's like, and I'm amazed that people don't understand what cancer is yet. And yet CNN ran a special here years ago, went to a chemist, asked a chemist what causes cancer, and he said, well, that's easy to understand. Certain things damage cells, and then cells mutate this damage. And then the interviewer said, well, what kind of things damage cells? And he said, and the chemist said, well, acids, of course. You know, this was some chemist, I don't know who he was, but smart guy. I mean, if we don't know that by now, what are we doing, you know? So detoxification, an incredible art, because when you start getting the body alkaline, now you see that I spent a lot of years in emergency rooms, and when you come into the emergency room, it's always acidosis, whether it's dietary related or trauma, and we always hang a bag of normal saline, which is an alkaline solution. In other words, when you're acidic, you have to go to the other side of chemistry. That's the only remedy you have. You see that only in the ER. You only see it in certain places. The rest of allopathic uses acids. Look at dialysis, a very toxic procedure. People go in peeing, come out not peeing. I mean, acid strip the blood. I mean, this is a very toxic procedure on people and does nothing to help the lymph system. It just cleans the blood. So you have to regenerate the kidneys. And there's nothing you can't regenerate in an alkaline medium. But it doesn't make sense that if acids break things down, if they're corrosive, that you would have to remove the acid medium that's breaking down your cells. If it's your bones, why would your bones break down? Not in an alkaline medium. Your blood doesn't break you down. Like I said, it'll kill you before it breaks you down. It's always an acid medium that breaks you down. The art of detoxification is a fasting and a fruit experience, not a vegetable experience. Nowhere in history did they use vegetable matter for detoxification. Sorry, guys. Green drinks, okay. Power up, build muscles, okay. But not for detoxification. You're not trying to build up and detoxify at the same time. Don't even go there, or you'll get a plateau and won't go anywhere with that. And it doesn't mean you have to live as a fruitarian. That might be a very difficult thing in today's world with the lack of quality of fruits and just the consciousness of people can't handle this high level of understanding of life. Being a fruitarian is a very powerful existence. I was one for many years and had to come off of it myself, too powerful. But if you want to get well, if you want to get tumors out of your body, you want to regenerate tissue, you've got to move lymph. And if you want to move lymph, you can only do it with strong astringent fruits. So the subacid category of fruits, which is your grapes and your apples and your mangoes and your peaches, that's the great group to move it with. Lemon juice, very, very powerful astringent. Notice how it makes you pucker. So very powerful detoxifier. Fresh oranges, fresh grapefruits, very powerful. They have an alkalizing effect. Pineapple would be good if you could pick it ripe off a plant. If not, it becomes acidic. Certain things are acidic. But these foods are very powerful. Watermelon's a great detoxifier. Great. I put people on 20, 30, 40-day grape fasts all the time. You'd be surprised some of the famous people that have done 40-day grape fasts with me. This is the lowest level of detoxification you really want to be at. Fruits all day, as much as you want, all you want, and a big salad at night. That really is a great work, because fruits are like putting the pedal down on your car, and eating a salad is like slowing up a bit. You can experiment this on yourself. You don't have to listen to me or the Hippocrates or anybody else. Try this. You'll see it on yourself. And that's the big key, is take on the robe of detoxification and wear it. and you will really see, because you have to take it on and wear it. You want to wrap this on and say, oh, this fits good. You know, and enjoy this journey, because it's an incredible journey. The stuff that can come out of some people are pretty nasty. You always want to deworm yourself. That's always part of detoxification, though, is deworming yourself. That's why all of the detoxifiers out there need to go to botanicals. Forget supplements. You don't detoxify with supplements. Hey, that's a no-brainer. And you're messing with chemistry. That's a no-brainer. Digestive enzymes, probiotics for detoxification? Get out of here. You know, digestive enzymes, you'll lose your pancreatic ability to digest. It's an endocrine gland. I can tell you cases I've had for years and seen these things. Detoxification is a high fruit and a fasting experience. And so you want to try to do fruits all day long and have a large salad at night. If you want to do fruit salad fruits, okay, but a little more powerful, you do fruits all day long and a salad at night. If you do one fruit meal and two vegetable meals, you'll see a big difference. You'll slow way down. If you want to speed way up, do fruit all day long. Remember, this is a detoxification experience you're entering into. What you do after that, I don't care, because I'm involved in regeneration of tissue and rebuilding. What you do for a lifestyle, how you live life, I cheat now and then, I'll tell you. The reason I created a lot of herbal formulas wasn't to sell them. I created them for myself, because my whole gig has always been you. My whole gig has always been to get you well and to tie you back to God again. That's my job here. So we need to make it all better, and we are, aren't we? And you guys, I'm real proud of you, because all you young people out there and all your moms making your kids raw, these are the survivalists of the future.